Suite? Is there a DVL Fantasy Suite? There is. Oh, hi. Liam's like, Lindsay, stop. We need to get Liam a hook for me so he can be like, reel it in. Here we go. There we go. There you go. You guys just saw Liam's hand. Liam just had some breaking news.
Dun, dun, dun.
What was our total for Honor Flight? $80,402 raised for the Honor Flight Telethon so
We're going to give you guys a number to call.
Awesome.
So you can do that while you're watching the show. Also, Lindsay and I will be up there answering the phones starting at 5:30 as soon as our show is over. So call us so we can chat, please.
You may have heard it's going to snow a little bit tonight. Is it 8 inches or is it 2? We'll talk about it in a few minutes.
Plus, an organization that supports wounded veterans might as well have won the jackpot. We'll explain.
And it's the day we've been waiting for. It's our Honor Flight Maine telethon. Help us raise enough money to send as many vets as possible to Washington, D.C. This is News Center now.
It's about the promises we've made to the working people in this country, promises I intend to keep.
Jared Golden is going to Washington. He is the new congressman from Maine's 2nd Congressional District after the tabulation of ranked choice voting results, which happened earlier today. Good evening, everybody. I'm Lee Goldberg.
And I'm Lindsay Mills. Chris Costa was in the room where those votes were tabulated, and Chris, Golden won by a very slim margin.
Yeah, Lee and Lindsay, it took 2 rounds of ranked choice voting to finally get a majority for a candidate, and Jared Golden won by a margin of 1.06% of the vote. Now, it took 2 rounds of ranked choice voting to do so. He actually surpassed his deficit from election night and then surpassed the number of total votes by Congressman Bruce Poliquin from that night, finally in that 2nd round of ranked choice voting. It is the first time in U.S. history that a federal race has been decided by ranked choice voting, but there's a lot of legal issues that are still going on with this. Take a look at this. Just as the Secretary of State's office was getting ready to announce that they would begin the final tabulations, the judge, hearing the case from Bruce Poliquin's lawyers to stop the process, denied their motion, essentially allowing ranked choice voting counting to continue. Now, after the Secretary of State's staff announced the results, Poliquin's communication staff in Washington, D.C. released a statement saying that they plan to proceed with their constitutional concerns about the ranked choice algorithm. Meanwhile, Jared Golden said in a press conference that he still plans to get to work in Washington on January 3rd.
I don't think it's going to impact my ability to do the job at all. Look, the process is what it is right now. I think we'll hear more from the judge in the court going forward on timeline. But I think we saw a very strong statement today. It does not look like the judge is likely to believe that there are constitutional grounds for the case to really proceed.
Yeah, we continue to assert that ranked choice voting has constitutional infirmities.
Well, I think, I'm not a constitutional scholar, and I'm not a lawyer, and I don't give legal advice. But under the Maine Constitution, under the advisory opinion and everything that we've been operating under since that point, states occupy the field in the conduct of elections, and the federal government has left this to the states, and the people of the state of Maine have embraced ranked choice voting. And I think based on that general assumption, I think the result will stand.
Now, Poliquin's lawyers say they are not sure yet if they will need to or even plan to fight this case all the way to the Supreme Court. Lee and Lindsay.
This is obviously kind of new for Jared Golden. He just found out that he has won. Did he talk at all about what his priorities might be when he gets to Washington?
Yeah, Lee and Lindsay, some of the things that he brought up in his victory speech during his press conference, expanding access to affordable health care, protecting Social Security and Medicare. And he also said that a lot of freshman Congress members are tasked with doing a lot of fundraising if they plan to go for re-election and hopefully win it. He said that's something he's not going to do, saying that he's going to take the first plane back to Maine every weekend so he can start listening to voters.
And Chris, one last question. There was a lot of technical detail that really had to be worked out in that ranked choice process and that voting process. Can you explain a little bit of that?
Well, Lindsay, there's one very interesting and very technical detail. As they were taking in all of these votes from all over the district, there were some of the tabulations that came in that counted Jared Golden as two separate candidates, and here's why. Some of them listed him as Golden, comma, Jared F. Some of them, the others, listed him as Golden space Jared F. So that counted as two separate candidates. The Secretary of State's election staff needed to consolidate those votes so that they only counted for one candidate, Jared Golden, and then adjust those results to make sure that every vote was counted accurately.
Coco, there's a lot of drama around this one, so I'm glad you were there to figure it all out, because I was getting a headache trying to figure it all out, so we had you. So thank you very much, sir.
And our eyes were certainly glued to this today. I know you were watching, I was watching, Keith, you too. I mean, we were all kind of watching from different places. Yeah, you were live on the air, so what was that like?
I just thought it was like a real Maine process. Like I said, I mean, it was like they were in front of the Excel spreadsheet. They were doing it all live. I thought it was entertaining, if nothing else.
I was at the Sanford Fire Department just visiting my brother-in-law, and it was on TV, and we all really walked right over and said, wow, it's historic, right? It's never happened before, and the drama behind it and all the, the legal stuff. I mean, just not knowing who the congressman was going to be.
And these are the days that are very interesting to work in a newsroom, because everybody's working together, everyone's yelling out information and kind of working as a team, as we do every day, but these are the days that are just unreal. And I was keeping a close watch on social media, obviously, and a lot of you guys were talking about this too. So I was curious, with all the suspense going on today, I was wondering, what are you guys waiting for right now? This was around noontime that I posted this. So snow, the ranked choice voting count for the Maine's 2nd Congressional District, or Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is now the winner. However, at the time that the ranked choice vote count came down, that was the winner that had the most votes before. So speaking of the snow, that's also something that a lot of us are anticipating for tonight.
Ready to go.
I've ranked choice voted my feelings on snow. I have it ranked last.
Too bad. Just so you know. You and somebody else with the same name and gave me enough votes to proceed. All right, let's have a look at our storm system here. It's a pretty good looking storm. Low right here, and the secondary low is taking over. A nice swath of snow. It's a nightmare in New York City right now. Go on Twitter and see the real-time Google Maps traffic for New York. It's worse than normal with the snow moving in there quickly. The front edge of this has been getting eaten up by dry air initially, and so it has to overcome that. That's why it's such a sharp edge. It goes from basically nothing to snowing hard. So that will happen for us tonight too. It'll go from 0 to 60 real fast. Current temperatures in the 20s and teens. So as it stands, obviously we're going to start as snow statewide because of the timing of this. Overnight tonight, we won't worry about rain and snow until early tomorrow morning. So clouds over the state right now. Temperatures do warm a bit in advance of this storm, but 10, 11 o'clock starts moving into central parts of York County, into Cumberland County too, and it is snowing again to start everywhere. By tomorrow morning, the snow is almost over the entire state. But notice the rain snow line starts flitting back and forth a bit here along the coast of southern coastal Maine into the mid-coast as well. This is where computer models are disagreeing pretty hugely as to where this coastal front will be. We're going to get some mixing, I think, along the coastline. One or two of the models has it much colder, but we've gone with the warmer solution, keeping totals down a bit along the coastline while it snows inland. Guys, the minimum on our map is 2 inches. The max is around 8. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. And by the way, perhaps some more snow for next week.
Oh boy. All right. Our Honor Flight Telethon has been going on all day long, and volunteers have been receiving some very generous donations both in Portland and in Bangor.
Yeah, we want to thank everybody who's donated so far. Last check, we're at over $80,000, which is unbelievable. We want to check in with Sam York, Don Kerrigan. They've been there literally all day up in the phone mix. How's it going, guys?
Hey, we're doing great, Lee and Lindsay. Thanks very much. Don Kerrigan, Sam York, as if you couldn't tell the difference. We're here in Bangor with a fantastic group of volunteers taking calls for Honor Flight Maine. Zach Blanchard's up in Bangor with another great group of volunteers taking calls. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your generosity so far. We've got a ways to go. People have been very generous. As you know, we've talked about it for years. Honor Flight Maine takes Maine's veterans of World War II, Korea, and Vietnam to see their memorials in Washington, D.C. Many of these vets have never been able to do it on their own, and it becomes a remarkable experience for them and a fabulous way for all of us to honor our veterans.
Yeah, and as Lee mentioned, we've raised now over $80,000, and the goal is $150,000. That's my own personal goal, so let's make it happen. And if you want to know where your money's going, just take a look.
Thank you. Thank you for serving our country, sir.
A welcome home these servicemen and women will never forget.
Boy, what a month. I never seen nothing like it.
As some of our nation's oldest heroes return from the trip of a lifetime.
What did this trip mean to you?
It was one of the most wonderful ones I've ever been on.
Receiving a first-class experience, not only on the flight to and from our nation's capital.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your service, sir.
But every moment in between.
It was wonderful.
I gotta say, I enjoyed all of it.
From seeing pieces of their own history at the memorials, some for the very first time.
I'm impressed. Very impressed. It honors our boys.
To getting a front row seat for the changing of the guard at the tomb of the unknown soldier.
It was amazing, really. It was.
Even having mail call.
Otis Benner!
A tradition our heroes looked forward to most while serving, receiving handwritten notes and cards from loved ones and even complete strangers.
Charles Farrington.
But what makes this experience even more special is who they get to share it with.
She was my savior.
I told on a flight I wasn't going without her.
I've heard all the stories over the years, and to see his reaction when he sees the memorials made it all the more special.
This has just opened up our eyes and it's brought us closer.
And the friendships they make along the way.
How old you say I was? You said you was 92, I was 29. You're pulling my old truck now.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
A trip of a lifetime for Mainers made possible by Mainers, and an opportunity that is truly priceless. All right, and the phones are blowing up now as we speak here, so let's keep the donations coming in. Again, I want to see us raise $150,000 because Dawn here has promised to do the floss thing.
Yeah,
if
it's not happening, but please give the money anyway.
We'll see if it happens. Leah, Lindsay, back to you.
Yeah, we might need $1.5 million if we're going to get Dawn to do some flossing up there. But
Dawn, if it makes you feel better, I was new to the floss game. I was a little late to the floss game is what I should say, too.
I'm sure that makes him feel better.
I'm trying. Okay. Plans for a 40-acre oyster farm on the Mid-Coast are the subject of a public hearing that's happening tonight in Brunswick. Residents around McCoy Bay have the chance to ask questions and get clarification about the plans. The hearing starts in a little less than an hour at 6 o'clock at the Coffin School in Brunswick.
The application from Mare Point Oyster Company for a 10-year lease was met with some opposition from residents. Signs went up in the neighborhood reading, "Stop the Oyster Factory."
About a year ago, we were all talking about this one story that went viral. Today, a wild twist. We'll have that story coming up.
Yeah, this one shocked me. And boarding an airplane is the worst time to get swarmed with phone calls, but for one familiar Maine veteran, it actually turned out to be a best-case scenario. We will tell you why coming up on Now.
What's up, everybody? A lot of you talking about ranked choice voting. I know that this is a topic that people are divided on, so please remain polite and respectful. I know that we have a lot of conversations going on.
Ryan says at least you guys have an answer. The Florida races, oh, no, I'm sorry, that was Robert who says, at least you have answers. We're still waiting on 3 different races here in Florida. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that obviously have strong opinions on that, but this is the process that Mainers voted for. So
you brought up a good point the other day, though. You know, there are people who didn't vote in favor of ranked choice voting, so maybe a lot of the opposition today is coming from those people who actually did not vote for it, but however, enough people voted for it to pass twice. Brenda says many people said they didn't understand the system of ranked choice voting, second, third, fourth. Some left it blank. Read and understand or leave it blank. Was her advice.
Yeah, I mean...
And Jesse, you're right. He is amazing.
Whether you voted in favor of it or not, it is what we have. So at that point, your objections to it or your love of it doesn't really matter. It is the reality. So that argument is over now, and we're on to it's the reality.
Yep.
So like it or not, this is what was voted on, and this is what we have to deal with. So it is the reality. Yes, Jesse, we will see Travis in just a little bit. You got this next story, though.
I know. This is the first thing I saw this morning.
I didn't see it until later this afternoon. I was shocked by this.
Yeah.
And
you guys will probably remember it.
It's too bad because, you know, you try to believe in the goodness of people, and I still do, but this one doesn't help. It just makes everybody cynical and jaded because not everything is what it seems, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Want to know what we're talking about? Watch this.
What a tease. What a tease. 10. Guys, just a reminder, me and Lee are going to be on the phone banks in a little bit.
Call me, ask for me by name. Actually, ask for her. So it was an act of kindness, kind of sounded like something out of a movie script, but now there's some reason to believe that the whole thing might have actually been really scripted. You might remember about a year ago this time, we're all talking about the story of the homeless man in New Jersey who used his last $20 to help a woman who ran out of gas. Well, that woman and her husband started a GoFundMe to thank him for his kindness. It raised over $400,000.
Since then, the story has taken some interesting turns. For one, the homeless man accused the couple of using the funds for personal gain and sued them. Their house was raided by police a few months ago, but nothing came of that. Now, all three face charges of conspiracy and theft by deception. They're accused of working together and making the entire thing up. The couple turned themselves into authorities yesterday. So there you go.
So there's that.
So there's that. Again, charges at this point, no convictions. So we will see.
All right. We also see this. This, not a scam, not even close. It's a reminder that's really important too. It's our third Honor Flight Maine telethon today. We want you to know all about this.
Our Bangor and Portland phone banks will be open until 7:30, taking your donations to help send Maine veterans to visit the war memorials built in their honor. Here's a shot of the busy volunteers in Bangor. And by the way, guys, it takes $700 to send one veteran to Washington, D.C.
We are up over the $80,000 mark so far. The number keeps on climbing. We want it to keep on going. To donate and to get more videos and pictures like that gentleman who had the lipstick kiss on his cheek. Come on, that was fantastic. Check out the numbers at the bottom of your screen. We want you guys to be a part of this amazing, amazing event. All right, coming up, another amazing Maine connection to talk about, which includes a generous act of kindness. And then, how much money can we raise to not have Keith come back? Not if he's talking about that. He's coming back, isn't he?
Da-da-da-da.
I know, Rachel. It's true. It stinks. I agree. Yeah, J-Bar, don't forget, not only are we doing the Honor Flight phones as soon as we're done here at 5:30, but if you watch 207 at 7 o'clock, I'll be hanging out with Rob Nesbitt and Lance on Take It or Leave It, so to go over how to properly prepare a Thanksgiving turkey. Last week, they went out to get a turkey with Bill Green, and now I have shown the gentleman what to do once you get it. It didn't exactly work out how I thought it would.
How was that when you guys when you shot that? Because not when you shot the turkey. Yes. Okay. What was that like hosting them at your house last night to do that?
Well,
I saw you had Finster on the table.
There's a lot going on at my house at all times, which is kind of being part of the
chaos of
comedy
Thanksgiving.
Of watching this piece.
Oh, we're going to the
tonight
monitor, by the way.
See some of that in full effect. It wasn't as bad. Everybody was actually on their best behavior, which was relatively disappointing.
Finster was
because
quiet.
I wanted chaos. Like I wanted Rob and Lance to see
Yeah.
a small sample
Yeah.
of my daily life, and the kids were actually really good. I mean, obviously they're always well behaved. You know, the Benadryl helped, I think. It's a joke. Didn't actually give them Benadryl. Just
Man, Lance is
before
just
y'all
so
call the
funny
authorities
though.
on us.
Lance is really funny.
Yes, it was fun. It was a good time.
He's really funny. Rob's funny too, obviously. How do we change the monitor in there?
Oh, Liam, you know how to do that? Or Michael, do you know how to do that?
What's on show?
Make camera 8 prompter versus the weather board.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Did it go?
No, that's weird.
It's still showing the almanac.
Ready?
It's all.
Oh boy.
File this under the Another Amazing Maine Connection folder.
Yeah, it's thanks to a Powerball winner in Iowa who wants to make sure the sacrifices of our veterans are never forgotten.
This will forever change my life.
A single mom in Iowa winning nearly $344 million in a recent Powerball drawing.
I know the responsibility that I have to do good with this money.
Lorin West would later spell out her plans on national television, and that caused one person's phone to ring off the hook at the least convenient of times.
I got on my plane to fly back from Atlanta to Charlotte, and when I was going, guess what happened? My phone rang. It was Brandy, and I said, oh crap, I can't, my phone's supposed to be off.
You may recognize this is Staff Sergeant Travis Mills, who survived an IED explosion in Afghanistan. When the calls wouldn't stop, he thought someone died.
Nope, someone didn't die. Let me tell you what happened. This lovely, amazing lady in Iowa who won the jackpot on the Powerball decided to go on Ellen today, not telling any of us, and she donated live on Ellen $500,000 to the Travis Mills Foundation.
$500,000 from someone Mills himself has never met, but they share the same passion to help wounded veterans.
Just we are so thrilled to have another supporter on our team.
The Travis Mills Foundation has a national retreat facility in Rome, Maine. An official statement from the foundation Thursday reads in part, her gift will be a catalyst for new projects as the Travis Mills Foundation continues to grow. Senator Angus King taking to Twitter to share the phenomenal news, writing about Mills, saying he's the real deal. And News Center Maine's Bill Green couldn't resist a celebratory tweet either. Pretty cool.
So amazing, right?
It's awesome that there's all these Maine connections that just happen.
Well, because we know about Travis and we do a lot with Travis, so it's nice to see that he's known and recognized in all other places. I mean, we kind of know it, but when you see it firsthand like that, that's pretty cool.
And on a day that's so timely with the Honor Flight Telethon, it's just unreal.
It worked out fairly well.
Sure did.
But not the weather.
Winter is here.
What do they call that in wrestling when you're the bad guy?
The villain.
No, this is another name.
You're the heel.
There is another
The
name
heel.
for it. Yeah.
That's been me lately in this show.
Yeah.
I feel. Except for people who
Only
just-
since we started.
Right.
Yeah.
A couple years ago.
March of 17.
Remember when Amanda Hill used to work here and do the show? Me neither. All right, here's what the storm looks like right now. Transferring its energy from this low here to the coastal low, and it's snowing hard in New York City. It will change over to rain eventually. Connecticut getting heavy snow as well. The front edge of this has been eaten up by dry air. Look how this is kind of setting up on our radar. So the result of this is that the light stuff is getting eaten up by the dry air, and then only the heavy stuff is arriving. So we're going from nothing to heavy, and that's going to happen in Maine overnight tonight as well as this storm moves in and saturates the column and gets that snow down there. Right now temperatures in the 20s and teens, so no question we're starting as snow everywhere. The only question on precipitation type will come later tonight into early tomorrow morning when we turns wind east off the ocean. So here we are, clouds increasing tonight. Here comes the snow. By midnight, it's about into Wiscasset, probably. It could be as far as Rockland at that point, depending on how dry that air is. But notice it is all snow. And I think it snows pretty good here late tonight, early tomorrow morning, all the way to the coastline. And so a lot of us will wake up to a very wintry scene. Now, it gets more interesting around, say, 5 to 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's when we turn winds east and we start to get a little mixing, perhaps even some rain along the coastline, certainly some sleet, and that will keep numbers down there. Meanwhile, on the other side of that coastal front, it's throwing down snow pretty hard just to the west there. That continues through noon, start clearing out early afternoon, and down east will be the last to get rid of it around sunset tomorrow. After that, by the way, actually a nice day. On Saturday, partly cloudy, temperatures in the mid and upper 40s, and then Sunday should be largely sunny as well. Temperatures a bit cooler, though, into the 30s. So you will see a wide variety of snowfall forecasts for the immediate coastline. Case in point, the National Weather Service has 8 inches forecasted for Portland, but I believe that we'll get enough warm air in the mid-levels to turn to sleet and perhaps a little rain, and all of that as an aggregate weighs down your snowfall totals. So 2 to 4 still feels fine to me along the coast, 4 to 6 in inland locations, and then 6 to 8 in a couple of jackpots, the usual spots that tend to get that. Oh, we changed the inland forecast over to the snow. We might be able to change it back over to leaves at some point. I don't know. Light snow again on Monday after a decent looking weekend. It will be very cold though. Middle of the week next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. Highs only in the 20s. Windy, chilly, it's overly. The real interest for us will be if the coastal locations end up closer to our 2 to 4 or on the higher end of things. And we've done all the analysis we can, so now we just have to wait. That's the fun part of my job.
All right, Saturday looks nice, and I've got a 3-year-old
Saturday looks
party
good.
I'm hosting. That's all I care about. So good job.
There you go.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Keith.
So this is Maine?
Right, question mark?
So Maine State Police were alerted to an unruly subject on the interstate near mile marker 155 northbound. The subject was uncooperative, and they had to take it into custody. Neither the troopers nor the pig were injured in that.
Good news there. I love that it looks like they're trying to corral, maybe a runaway dog or something. But no, look a little closer, and it is, in fact,
it's a
pig. And it's taking some muscle. Look at that. He's really, leaning up that hill.
Digging in.
Here we go. Bringing home the bacon. Unless it's a pet. Sorry. Anyway. Okay, a lot more.
That was Lindsay Mills, everybody.
Here's Cindy the
MILLS.
News Center
Send your
Maine.
emails.
5:30. Here's the preview. What you got?
I know you've talked about this already, but Maine's 2nd Congressional District officially has a new representative. Jared Golden won a very close race against Bruce Poliquin. Chris Costa's in Augusta with reaction on this historic vote. And make sure to keep our volunteers busy. They are working the phone banks to try to help send veterans to the memorials in Washington, D.C. through Honor Flight Maine. All that and more ahead at 5:30.
Sounds good, Cindy. Thanks so much. Stick around. Raindrops soon. We'll come back. Why did I say that? Sorry, guys. I'm bringing home the bacon because some people have pigs as pets. So.
I would never say that.
The sad thing is, the latest episode of Foodie Frumpkin.
Don't look on Twitter, where there's a picture of Lindsay and I.
Drooling. Literally drooling.
It was so
and it's like,
good.
It was a good picture, and it was really good. It was so worth it. It was tasty.
But it wasn't that little guy, so that's okay.
That's true. That little piggy went to market.
Exactly. That little piggy stayed.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. No,
That's
this is
me.
still Lee and Lindsay because we have to end the show.
Sarah, that's me. Sarah. Sarah.
I mean, we could fly blind and just let Keith guide us out of the show.
Oh yeah, what could go wrong?
That would be fine.
Doesn't bother me.
Are you heading right upstairs?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, me too. Me too.
Don't forget, call the numbers. Ask to speak to either Lindsay or Lindsay.
I'll be busy.
Okay.
5-0.
I'll go quick.
Okay.
Maybe let's start with the graphic here. We didn't even get a Kia closing today. They're like, oh, it's hidden.
You're on Facebook, just so you know.
I know.
Okay.
It's okay. Nobody knows.
It's
okay.
what now? It's.
I was
Are
like,
you
is it
serious?
in?
It's a lash pad.
No, it was like hidden somewhere, which I knew where it was.
Oh.
But they're like, yeah, that's where it is.
Oh my God.
Seems a little
You
unceremonious.
can't even take like
Yeah.
the key in front of the house picture,
No.
like
We wouldn't
for
do that.
social.
Probably good.
Oh, that's me. I'm basic. Hashtag basic.
That's like with our kid, we haven't done any like
The 3 months.
1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like
One time I got really sick of seeing engagement photos.
you guys have to be messing with that kind of stuff.
One time I got really sick of seeing engagement photos, and we had a life-size Mike Myers mannequin in our newsroom at the time, and so I did a fake engagement shoot with Mike Myers.
I like that.
Where I was like
but at least
over his
engagement
shoulder.
pictures are one time.
That's
in
true.
theory.
Like you never do it again.
Once, but
Yeah.
the thing with the baby thing, if you do it every week, it's literally every week.
That's a lot. That's
And
commitment.
they don't change that much from week to week.
I
month
just
to
don't have
month.
enough memory on my phone for that. I don't.
All right, we're gonna make this one quick. So, does early snow mean anything for the next, the winter coming after it? These are records October and November snow amounts, top 5, and then the total winter rank. Now, 1962, bad year as it turned out. That was the #1 winter. This is using Bangor. But after that, there's no correlation at all. So you've got your 30th, your 40th, 42nd winter. And if you think about it, whether you're starting with that much snow in October and November, that means that the winter is actually probably pretty quiet after to end up in the middle rank like this. Bottom line, there's no correlation between an early start to the season, as this appears to be, and an actual big, strong, snowy winter.
My prediction: this will not be a top 20 winter. When
You're
it's all said and
gonna
done.
go low.
Snowfall only.
We're kind of like due
Snowfall
for a
only.
low one.
It won't be a
so
top 20.
We shall see.
All right.
Okay, fingers crossed. News in a minute. 5:30 starts right now.
All right, we got to go because we're upstairs
Bye,
to answer
guys.
phones. So call Honor Flight Maine. Thank you in advance. We'll talk to you later.
And these are going right here.
No, but there's nobody here. So to give them to the boys. Or I don't